We are now in the present, in the deserts of Qatar, where we meet Sergeant Epps and Lieutenant Colonel William Lennox, who are part of the U.S. Army station in Qatari territory. One day, an unidentified helicopter enters their airspace. According to the records, it's a craft that had recently been shot down. However, when it lands, the entire base begins to experience interference, and soon the helicopter reveals its true form. It's actually a Decepticon, who immediately starts attacking the base to copy the Army's classified files. Tanks and helicopters are blown apart by the Decepticons' arsenal, although one of the humans' counterattacks manages to hit the creature, making it detach from the largest unit. From here, we move to the United States, where we meet Sam Witwicky, a high school student who, during a class presentation, talks about how his great-grandfather, Captain Archibald Witwicky, led an expedition to the Arctic Circle, from which he brought back several artifacts that Sam now wants to sell to buy himself a car. Among them, the most important are a pair of glasses with strange engravings. He continues explaining that his great-grandfather ended up blind and insane, writing strange symbols everywhere. Afterward, his father, Ron Witwicky, takes him to buy his first car at Bobby Bolivia's dealership. Although the place only has old cars, Sam is drawn to a racing model with a special logo on the steering wheel. Bobby demands too much money, so the deal doesn't happen until suddenly the car's radio turns on by itself, making all the other cars explode. This forces Bobby to offer a discount. At the same time, in Washington, D.C., the Secretary of Defense John Keller gathers a meeting of analysts, among whom the most important is Maggie Madsen, to talk about the attack in Qatar. They report that so far there are no confirmed survivors. Keller shows him an audio recording as the only piece of evidence and gives him the task of discovering its origin. However, we soon discover that Epps and Lennox, along with a few soldiers, are still alive but isolated in the desert, unaware that they're being watched. Back with Sam, he uses his new car to go to a high school party by the lake, where he almost gets punched by Trent, if not for Michaela, Trent's girlfriend, who stops him. When Trent forbids her from driving his car and treats her as his toy, she gets offended enough to walk away. Seeing this, Sam seizes his chance, ditches his friend like a true Sigma, and offers to take Michaela home. Everything goes well until suddenly the car stops in the middle of nowhere, with romantic music playing on the radio. When it refuses to start, Michaela decides to walk, but just then the car turns back on, and Sam manages to take her home. Meanwhile, in the Pentagon, the analysts still can't uncover the truth. At the same time, aboard the presidential plane, a small radio-like Decepticon named Frenzy sneaks into the cargo bay, accesses a network, and starts downloading files from Project Iceman, while simultaneously uploading a virus. This alerts the Pentagon, which, having no other choice, shuts down the servers. The download freezes at 96%, but Frenzy manages to find the name of Captain Witwicky as the project's leader. Guards try to stop him but fail, and when the plane lands, Frenzy escapes easily. While investigating, he discovers that Sam is selling the glasses with the strange engravings, which turn out to contain Decepticon language. Meanwhile, Sam's car starts up on its own and drives off. He believes it's being stolen and runs after it, only to find out that the car is alive. His shock gets him in trouble with some dogs and then the police, but he's saved when officers arrive. In the Pentagon, Maggie, who discovered the infiltration, tries to convince Keller that the attack might have been carried out by a living, advanced organism, but Keller makes it clear he'll only believe it once she has proof. The next day, the police question Sam, thinking he imagined everything due to being under the influence. Meanwhile, Lennox's team, after finally reaching a nearby village, are attacked by a burrowing Decepticon shaped like a scorpion. As the battle begins, Lennox manages to use a phone to re-establish communication with the Pentagon and call for reinforcements. Fighter jets arrive and unleash all their firepower, but despite the destruction, the Decepticon manages to escape. In search of answers, Maggie visits her hacker friend Glenn Whitman, who discovers that the intercepted message mentions Project Iceman and Captain Witwicky, but just then the FBI shows up, having tracked the copied file back to the Pentagon. Meanwhile, Sam's car returns home and starts chasing him again, humiliating him in front of Michaela, who grows curious and follows him. At one point, Sam encounters a police car, which turns out to be the Decepticon barricade. He corners Sam and demands a location of the glasses, but Sam escapes and reunites with Mikaela. Both are saved by Sam's car, which tries to flee but gets cornered. The car then reveals its true identity. It's the Autobot Bumblebee, and a new battle begins. The party is joined by Frenzy, who corners Sam, but Mikaela arrives just in time to slice him in half. Bumblebee then calls them both to follow him, and they agree, without realizing Mikaela accidentally takes Frenzy with her, disguised as her phone. During the ride, Sam uses his wits and convinces Mikaela to sit on his lap to share the only seatbelt. On the way, Mikaela, used to fancy cars, mentions that Bumblebee is an old model, so he stops and scans a passing Camaro, transforming into a newer version of himself. When they arrive at their destination, they witness the legendary arrival of the other Autobots, who land like meteorites, scan nearby vehicles, and regroup. Optimus Prime introduces himself, along with his team, Jazz, Ironhide, Ratchet, and Bumblebee. Optimus explains that they come from Cybertron and are here in search of the Allspark before it falls into Megatron's hands. He reveals that, in the past, Sam's grandfather discovered Megatron frozen in Arctic ice and unknowingly activated his navigation system, engraving the cube's coordinates onto the glasses. After this revelation, they all go together to Sam Witwicky's house to retrieve the glasses, unaware that Frenzy is also there. The Autobots' massive size causes chaos, destroying the garden, shaking the ground, and cutting the power in the entire street. This, of course, draws the attention of Sam's parents, who hear voices and almost discover the Autobots, but calm down when Mikaela shows up. Thinking their son is just hanging out with a girl, they proudly leave him alone. Sam finally finds the glasses, but at that exact moment, agents from Sector 7, a secret government branch led by Agent Simmons, arrive. When Simmons measures Sam's radiation levels, he realizes Sam has been in contact with alien technology and takes him in for questioning. During the interrogation, Simmons uses their backgrounds to threaten them, revealing that Mikaela's father is on parole and that she herself was once in juvenile detention for stealing cars with him. However, they don't get far, as they're intercepted by Optimus and the Autobots, who rescue them. Soon after, Sector 7 reinforcements arrive, forcing them to split up to escape. Optimus tries to hide with Sam and Mikaela, but they slip, forcing Bumblebee to save them, which exposes their position. As a result, Bumblebee is captured by Sector 7, and Sam and Mikaela are arrested. Optimus states that freeing Bumblebee would cause too many human casualties, but not all hope is lost, as they finally find the glasses. Meanwhile, Keller is overwhelmed as the world begins to panic. Russia, North Korea, China, and the US all blame each other for the Qatar attack and the meteor showers from the previous day. Sector 7's Tom Banachek arrives at the Pentagon after a global hacking virus shuts down communications. He shows Keller a discovery. Years ago, when NASA sent a probe to Mars that was declared lost, it actually transmitted 30 seconds of footage showing a transformer similar to the one found in Qatar. Banachek warns that an attack is imminent. Seeing this, Keller recruits Epps and Lennox for battle, and everyone is transferred to a dam-based facility. Meanwhile, the Autobots locate the cube using the glasses and stay firm in their decision not to attack to save Bumblebee, who is being experimented on. Optimus explains that the plan is to destroy the cube, but if it fails, he will merge with it, meaning his own sacrifice. At the same time, Simmons reveals that Megatron is being kept frozen in cryostasis. Sam explains that their kind came to Earth because of the Allspark, though Sector 7 already has it in their possession. Also infiltrating the base is Frenzy, who touches a cube, regenerates, and alerts the other Decepticons. Simmons also demonstrates the cube's energy by exposing a cell phone to it, which briefly springs to life. Soon after, the Decepticons arrive and begin their assault, while the Autobots approach. Frenzy deactivates the cryo system, awakening Megatron. Sam insists that Bumblebee knows what to do, and although Sector 7 disagrees, Keller orders him to free him. Sam leads Bumblebee to the cube, where the Autobot activates it and shrinks it for transport. They plan to hide it in the nearest city, as Megatron awakens, ready to destroy everything. Since communication is still blocked, Simmons leads the others to an old radio station to send a Morse code signal asking for reinforcements. Meanwhile, the Autobots reunite, and although Frenzy tries to stop them, the message is sent and intercepted by the Air Force. On the highway, the Decepticon Bone Crusher attacks Optimus, but the Autobot leader impales him through the head with his sword. Meanwhile, Frenzy sneaks into the base, but during an exchange of gunfire, he accidentally destroys himself. In the city, Epps and Lennox secure long-range radios to coordinate with the Air Force. Suddenly, Starscream arrives, launching missiles that send everyone flying. Bumblebee loses his legs and asks to be left behind, but soon another Decepticon arrives. Working together, the Autobots and soldiers manage to bring him down, but Megatron and his forces soon arrive. With no effort, he kills soldiers and overpowers Optimus, using a concern for the humans against him. As Sam runs toward the building carrying the cube, the Autobots defend him from Starscream, though the enemy proves too powerful. Sam trips and accidentally spawns 3 new Decepticons before finding Megatron right behind him again. Nearby, Michaela and Bumblebee realize there's no escape and return to the fight. With the soldiers' help, they destroy Brawl with a blast to his core. Sam reaches a rooftop marked for evacuation, but when the helicopter arrives, it's shot down. He's soon surrounded by Megatron and Blackout. Sam refuses to hand over the cube, and Megatron shoves him, but Optimus arrives in time to save him from falling. The two Titans clash once again, fighting across the ruins while soldiers and the Air Force manage to take down Blackout. Starscream tries to stop a second airstrike, but Megatron takes the hit head-on. Crawling with his final strength, Megatron reaches Sam. Optimus orders Sam to insert the cube into his chest to destroy them both, but instead, Sam shoves it into Megatron's core, killing him instantly. With the battle won, Bumblebee speaks for the first time, asking to stay by Sam's side. Optimus agrees and takes the remaining piece of the cube from Megatron's chest. Sector 7 is dissolved, and Megatron's body is buried deep in the ocean. Soldiers like Lennox reunite with their families, while Sam, now dating Michaela, enjoys the perks of being her boyfriend. Since the Allspark no longer exists, Cybertron can't be reborn, so the Autobots decide to remain on Earth. Optimus sends a message into space, calling out to all Autobots scattered across the galaxy, ending the movie with his voice echoing among the stars.